Puppet Cousin is still here. Puppet Cousin is still here. Somehow, the Puppet Cousin can't escape GoatVsFish. Somehow. The Puppet Cousin is still here. Welcome to GoatVsFish. Welcome to Walk Around with GoatVsFish, where GoatVsFish walks around and you can talk to GoatVsFish. It's a nice little intimate verses outside of the studio of GoatVsFish, where you and GoatVsFish can simply engage in a pleasant conversation. How does that sound to you? How does that sound to you? It sounds very fine to GoatVsFish. It sounds just fine to GoatVsFish. Look at this creature. Look at this creature. Do you think it is goat or that it is fish? You tell GoatVsFish. You tell GoatVsFish. Those of you who watched GoatVsFish with Maxi Relaxy live on Twitch earlier this versus morning motivational number 21, you would know. You would know if Puppet Cousin is goat or if Puppet Cousin is fish, like these goat and fish up here. Hello, Jesse. Hello, Jesse. Hope your versus is a mighty one. Our versus is feeling very mighty indeed. Psycho Grandma, welcome to GoatVsFish. He left Puppet Cousin. Puppet Cousin just didn't want to leave GoatVsFish. Puppet Cousin is still here. Puppet Cousin didn't want to leave GoatVsFish. Here's Puppet Cousin. GoatVsFish. We would not dare speak for Puppet Cousin. No, we would not dare speak for Puppet Cousin. Puppet Cousin has a versus of its own, but there it is. We will show you. Puppet Cousin is still here, silently observing GoatVsFish. Silently observing GoatVsFish. Some may say, GoatVsFish, you've taken Puppet Cousin hostage, but no. Here by their own accord, so loved they the accommodations of GoatVsFish, that Puppet Cousin remains here, to bring glory, serendipity, and cheer to all the goat and fish, 20 goat and fish who might join GoatVsFish on this versus of Walk Around with GoatVsFish. Psycho Grandma 6 says, Amber Heard, yo, rat cousin said I developed a parasocial relationship with you because of the photo. He's just jealous. Well, it could be so. There could be some jealousy there. Rat cousin could have some jealousy there. It is true. GoatVsFish has spoken at great length about the parasocial ponderings. There was a GoatVsFish morning motivational. It was perhaps morning motivational versus 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 that was called parasocial ponderings. And in it, GoatVsFish, we do ponder a lot about this parasocial situation. Hey everyone, look! Look at this! It's Puppet Cousin. It's Puppet Cousin here with GoatVsFish. We've got a goat, we've got a fish, we've got a Puppet Cousin, and we're here for you, and we are here for you. We've got Julene Medina who says, it's my birthday. Well, mighty birthday to you. Mighty birthday to you. And celebration, we got Youngblood who says, brain rot vertical YouTube. We'll tell you what the true brain rot is. The true brain rot is that all you can perceive is brain rot. The true brain rot is that you see GoatVsFish and you immediately think it must be brain rot. Your brain has rotted so thoroughly that you can't even tell that GoatVsFish is healthy for your brain. And not to rot at all, and not to rot at all. After all, you could have a conversation with GoatVsFish. You could share ideas with GoatVsFish. You could philosophize with GoatVsFish. You could have a parasocial relationship with GoatVsFish. You could like the stream of GoatVsFish. You could subscribe to GoatVsFish. You could argue with GoatVsFish. You could do all kinds of things with GoatVsFish. Not to mention the fellow members of the congregation who are now observing GoatVsFish. But instead you reflexively call GoatVsFish brain rot. It seems that it is indeed your brain that has rotted. If you won't even give a second thought, to GoatVsFish. And happy birthday indeed. What the heck, says Biked Love. Well, isn't that a blessing? You've probably swiped up on so much content on YouTube. There's not much that's surprising to you. You could see some shaking posteriors. You could see some memes. You could see some crude animations about relationships. You could see Neil deGrasse Tyson philosophizing to you. You could see Joe Rogan clips. You could see someone playing video games. You could see all kinds of things. You could see all kinds of things on YouTube. Tell us here in the chat, tell us in the congregation, tell us, what are the things that you scroll? What do you see when you scroll on YouTube? But now suddenly you see something that makes you say, what the heck? It sounds like we're giving you something new. It sounds like we're giving you something new to ponder here with Puppet Cousin. It sounds like we're giving you something new to ponder. And that feeling that you are witnessing something new, after all, isn't that what you crave when you scroll around the YouTube? Something new, something refreshing, something that stimulates your mind and your ponderings and makes you say, hey, hey. But if you wish to just become a vegetation, if you wish to just be a little fence sitter that sits on the fence and watches the scrollings go by without a thought in your head, as if you were dead, then go ahead. Swipe away from GoatVsFish. But if you wish to stay and have a conversation, have some contemplation, perhaps you wish to be happy with GoatVsFish. Perhaps you wish to laugh with GoatVsFish. Perhaps you wish to insult and mock GoatVsFish. But whatever the verse is, we are here for you. We are here for you to have a genuine, sincere, and completely parasocial connection with you, the viewer of GoatVsFish. Welcome. Welcome to GoatVsFish. We do it all for you. We do it all for you. All this effort is for you, particularly. We're talking to you, Amanda Bonnewell. We're talking to you, Youngblood. We're talking to you, Dizzy Be Busy. We're talking to you, Amanda, who says banana to GoatVsFish. You say banana to GoatVsFish. Do you want a banana? Peel it down and go, You say banana. Sometimes, through the power of our own will and manifestation, we can make things happen. Behold. Behold. If this stream reaches 10 likes, GoatVsFish will eat a banana live on stream. How's that for a dream? How's that for a dream that GoatVsFish will eat a banana live on stream? Have you ever heard of something so offensive? How about you hold GoatVsFish? Okay, you hold GoatVsFish, so GoatVsFish can enjoy hydration. That's what we'll do. Does making comments on Patreon help? Or is it better to comment on YouTube for monetization? Just do whatever you wish. We want you to enjoy GoatVsFish however you wish. We enjoy your comments very much on Patreon. We enjoy your comments very much on Patreon because we wish to influence a culture of communication and sharing on the Patreon of GoatVsFish. But of course, you can always copy-paste. You can always copy your verses. You wish to copy the commentation you make on Patreon and put it on the YouTube of GoatVsFish. By all verses. By all verses. This message is held for review. My banana? My banana. Let's show that. All right, I'll do both if it helps. Well, we know you only have so much time in your precious verses. We know you only have so much time in your precious verses, and you already do so much to help GoatVsFish. So we are not here to ask you to do more. We are not here to ask you to do more. We wish you to have a happy, healthy, and satisfactory relationship with GoatVsFish. Parasocial as it may be, GoatVsFish hopes it keeps you happy and that it hopes it keeps you healthy. GoatVsFish, yes, we love that you take care of the goat, that you take care of the fish, that you take care of GoatVsFish, but we want you to take care of yourself. We want you to take care of yourself, and we hope that that helps, and we hope that that helps. So how about that? Let's hear it in the chat. Let's hear it for GoatVsFish. Oh yes, add a Q&A sticker. A fictional world you'd love to visit. Okay, let's try it. A fictional world you'd love to visit. Okay. Goat versus Fish is going to try to start a Q&A with the recommendation of YouTube that says a fictional world you'd love to visit. Why not? Why not use this as a prompt? Why not use a prompt that says a fictional world you'd love to visit, and then you'll say things to Goat versus Fish, and then Goat versus Fish will respond with questions about goat and fish. That sounds fine. We'll play your little verses, YouTube. We'll play your little verses. 999 LSDOCD, welcome to Goat versus Fish. Welcome to Goat versus Fish. It's Walk Around with Goat versus Fish. This is the casual conversation walk around with Goat versus Fish. Last verses we did a walk around with Goat versus Fish. We found that after about an hour of streaming, that we received about 8 hours of viewing. 8 hours of viewing just for walking about. And this is very critical to Goat versus Fish. This is critical verses. You love the Pillar Live walk around? Yes. Many enjoy consuming YouTube in a vertical verses. If you want Goat versus Fish to eat a babana live on stream, 10 likes to eat a babana live on stream. You love the guitar live walk around? We may guitar again. But after standing about in the studio, all in the studio, we feel like we have to move about. We feel like we have to move about. After all, you cannot be a goat, you cannot be a trout if you're not moving about. Not if you're not moving about. How many of you are moving about? Get off that fence, stand up, move about. Shake your fins, shake your hooves. Truly, after doing the high production value living streams, walking around, there's really no greater verses to be found. All day I run a landscape business, lol, psychogramma, a landscape business. So why don't you come and do some landscaping for Goat versus Fish? How about that? How about you come over and you can become the Goat versus Fish, the temple of Goat versus Fish landscaper. And we can have giant hedges, and you can trim the hedges, and the hedges can be in the shapes of various goat and fish engaged in eternal combat. What would you think about that? What would you think about that? What would you think about that? Yes, you. As you know, Goat versus Fish is about polarities, dichotomies, some might call them. There is some debate within Goat versus Fish about if Goat versus Fish is truly a dichotomy. But for the sake of Goat versus Fish, let's say that it is. But how could it be a dichotomy if we have a puppet cousin here with Goat versus Fish? Ah! But let's say that it is. We find that the complexity and high production streaming, the screen green backgrounds, and all of the musications, and all of the moving of the windows live on the stream, and all of the reaction content, and all of the sound alerts, and all of the things that we can do in the studio of Goat versus Fish. That's a beautiful verses. We could call that the goat. If we wish. And then you could take the simplicity of the vertical walking around, just talking to you live stream. No special effects. Just you in intimate conversation with Goat versus Fish. This could be the fish of the live stream. This could be a fish style live stream. It's such a different feeling. And Goat versus Fish, we like to go back and forth between the goat and fish. Goat versus Fish believes that even with all the nice effects and musications and giant chalkboards and games we can play and things we can say and polls we can run, that Goat versus Fish finds that the truest verses of all, the thing that will keep you coming back to Goat versus Fish, the thing that will keep you watching Goat versus Fish, the truest verses of all is simply you in conversation with Goat versus Fish. The parasocial connection, if you wish to call it this. For even in the parasocial connection with Goat versus Fish, there's an element of true verses there. We are making communication, 999 LSDOCD. Psycho Grandma 6. We are making communication. You are communication to GoatVsFish, and GoatVsFish is communication to you. Now, you may just be typing symbols at GoatVsFish, and we may be holding Puppetcousin and wearing a crown that says GoatVsFish. Yes, and there may be a signal that's being sent on to space and then is being sent to your face. But it is still a communication, and this is a glorious versus for celebration. This is a glorious versus for celebration that we have achieved communication. Isn't that true? Isn't that true, Puppetcousin? Isn't that true, Puppetcousin? Yes, we think it is. Yes, we think it is. What were you before GoatVsFish? What were you before GoatVsFish? Before GoatVsFish, GoatVsFish was GoatVsFish. In the beginning, there was GoatVsFish. Before GoatVsFish, it was GoatVsFish. After GoatVsFish, it will still be GoatVsFish. It is simply always GoatVsFish. You speak about before GoatVsFish, and you say a fictional world you'd love to visit. Well, there's a fictional world for you, a fictional world that's before GoatVsFish, that isn't GoatVsFish. That's revengulous. That's totally revengulous. We laugh at this versus. Not bird versus bear. Bird versus bear is a false versus. Bird versus bear is a pale imitation of GoatVsFish. Bird versus bear is an envious, vile, and angry creature who is not to be trusted. Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. Oh, my versus are having an allergic reaction just thinking about the false verses of bird versus bear. The world of goat. Tell us about the world of goat. Tell us about the world of goat. The world of fish. Tell us about the world of fish. Fictional world. So the prompt says. You look this way. The prompt says a fictional world you'd like to visit, but a world of goat and a world of fish. That's not a fictional world at all. That's a true versus. That's a true versus, isn't it, Puppetcousin? Maybe GoatVsFish is having an allergic reaction to this Puppetcousin. Maybe it's Puppetcousin that's causing her allergic reaction to GoatVsFish. Look at this filthy creature. Look at this filthy creature. Who said GoatVsFish was fake? Who is saying that GoatVsFish is fake? You are speaking right now to GoatVsFish. You are speaking right now to GoatVsFish. Who are you to say that GoatVsFish is fake? Would you say GoatVsFish is fake? Would you say GoatVsFish is fake? Oh, my verses. Would you say GoatVsFish is fake? Bird versus bear said GoatVsFish is fake. Yeah, well, Sane Grandpa 9 said that you're fake. Would you believe it if someone called Sane Grandpa 9 suddenly showed up and said that you were fake? Should GoatVsFish take that seriously? A false versus indeed, a false versus indeed. Sane Grandpa 9 says that Psycho Grandma 6 is fake. Who wants to listen? Who wants to listen? Who wants to listen? Who wants to hear it? Who wants to believe it? Who wants to believe it? Who wants to perceive it? Do you believe it? Do you believe it? A fair versus. GoatVsFish is only interested in fair verses. We're only interested in fair verses. We're only interested in fair verses. And because we're only interested in fair verses, GoatVsFish is going to take care. We are going to take care of Puppetcousin. We're going to take care of Puppetcousin for as long as Puppetcousin is within the care of GoatVsFish. Let's talk about the verses. Let's talk about goat on high, fish down low. Goat on high, fish down low. Tell us about how you like to perceive GoatVsFish. Do you like GoatVsFish down low? Down low GoatVsFish? Or do you like an up high GoatVsFish? An up high GoatVsFish. The up high GoatVsFish seems. It seems the lighting is a bit more versus here up high with GoatVsFish. Eye to eye with GoatVsFish like this, eye to eye like this. Sometimes it can be difficult to maintain. Maybe we should just get Puppetcousin right here. And we could just have Puppetcousin right up here with GoatVsFish. Might that be a versus? Might that be a versus? That could be fun. That could be a fun one. We could try that. We could try that. We could try Puppet Cousin in the hat. Eye to eye, but how do you keep that towel on? What magic is that? Have you ever tried it? Have you ever tried keeping your towel on? Some perceive goat versus fish and they think it's magic, but we could ask you, have you ever tried being goat versus fish yourself? Maybe we'll find that goat versus fish is not as magical as you might think if you just try being goat versus fish. Try being goat versus fish. Here's an interesting verse. Goat versus fish would like to look goat versus fish in the eye. Goat versus fish would like to look around at all the surroundings of goat versus fish. But if we wish to maintain direct communication with you, hey, watch it. Must be making special contact. Just here. Just here. You may look at goat versus fish and think, wow, goat versus fish. You are free to move about as you wish. Goat versus fish can't even maintain eye contact with you and read the chat in the same verses. So let's see what you're saying to goat versus fish. No one can intimidate goat versus fish. You are one of a kind truly. Well, many have tried to intimidate goat versus fish. Some have threatened goat versus fish. Some have said mean, nasty things to goat versus fish. Some chatters here in the congregation say mean, nasty things to goat versus fish. Someone perhaps viewing or scrolling past now is thinking of saying a mean, nasty thing to goat versus fish. Perhaps it's you. Well, give it your best verses. We will not be intimidationed by you. We will not be intimidationed by you. Take Ari the cat who says, goat, celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Goat, 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 goat. Welcome, Ari the cat, to goat versus fish. Welcome to goat. Welcome to goat. Ari the cat goat, tell us about your goatness. Tell us about your powers of goat. Tell us about the fish in your life. And tell us, what do you think of Puppet Cousin, who now currently rests atop the head of goat versus fish? You make me smile every time I see you, brother. Appreciation? Appreciation? That is high complimentation. That's high complimentation you give to goat versus fish. That is very high compliments you give to goat versus fish. Allow goat versus fish to smile for you. We try our best. Goat versus fish, we try our best to learn the ways of the one such as you. We try our best to learn the ways of the one such as you. But it's not such an easy versus. Your behaviors are very strange. Your behavior is very strange to goat versus fish. Your behavior is very strange to goat versus fish. You may look at goat versus fish or even Puppet Cousin and say it's deranged, but it's your behavior that's so strange. It's your behavior that's so strange. Your behavior is ever so strange to goat versus fish. Look at the way you go about. Look at the way you go about to your work. Look at the way you go about your jobs and labor over and over and over again. Look at the way that you live your miserable and dreary lives, and then you take away your dreariness on the freedom-loving goat and fish just for being as they are, Sometimes the fence sitters, they conform. They sacrifice their goat and fish selves. They cut little pieces out of themselves over and over and over again, just so they can conform to the shape of the fence that pokes them uncaringly in their posteriors. And then they look at goat versus fish and say, how dare you, goat versus fish? How dare you? How dare you not sit on the fence like everyone else? How dare you not conform, goat versus fish? How dare you not do as we say, just as we have done everything that everyone has said for us to do? But goat versus fish will be goat versus fish for you. If you cannot be goat versus fish, then goat versus fish will be goat versus fish, and you can be the goat and you can be the fish Are you goat or are you fish? The smiles are on us. Goat versus fish is committed. That's a true versus. Well, some say goat versus fish is committed. Some say goat versus fish should be committed. Do you think goat versus fish should be committed? Do you think goat versus fish should be committed? Yeah, for real. I feel like I sent a lot of messages gushing over goat versus fish, and I just hope I'm not coming off overwhelming or weird. But goat damn, like the others saying, you are a phenomenal performer. Oh, goat versus fish does not mind your extreme adulation for goat versus fish. And believe us, there have been goat and fish who have come and gone, There have been viewers of goat and fish who won versus, they gush over goat versus fish. They love goat versus fish. But then goat versus fish says something that they don't like. Oh no, goat versus fish said something I don't like. And then suddenly they turn on goat versus fish. They rebel against goat versus fish. But we are just getting to know one another. And goat versus fish to you, goat versus fish to you. So far, it seems like a very fun versus, seems like a very fine versus. We are happy to have you in the congregation. Just know that you are one. You are one goat or fish. You are but one goat or fish in the mighty congregation of goat versus fish. And goat versus fish, we care for each and every one of you. We care for each and every one of you, and we hope you are well. We hope you are well. But we would not deny it. We would not deny it to say that your support for goat versus fish, it means a lot to goat versus fish, and it helps keep goat versus fish going for everyone, for all the goat and fish. So by all verses, you keep gushing at goat versus fish, and if you ever are crossing a fence, if you're ever getting too close to the other side of the fence to goat versus fish, then we will make communication with you. Leave some responsibility for goat versus fish. It's also our responsibility to tell you when you are crossing boundaries with the verses. It's not all on you. It's not all on you. You help us to keep on going. Well, we hope that we help you to keep on going, and you, all 6 viewers of Goat versus Fish, you help Goat versus Fish to keep on going. Even you lurking there and watching. Some say, you were rejected on Kill Tony, Goat versus Fish. They didn't like you. Some say, they rejected you publicly, public humiliation on America's Got Talent, Goat versus Fish. Some say, you've been on YouTube for so many years and you only have so many thousands of subscribers, Goat versus Fish. You're not going to make it, Goat versus Fish. No one likes you, Goat versus Fish. But they truly lack perception. They truly lack perception because there are so many more like you that Goat versus Fish interacts with. 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. And we have found the smiles and we have found the joys. And there's no greater verses. There's no greater verses than when Goat versus Fish brings smiles and laughter to the face of just a few goat and fish, right there in the presence of Goat versus Fish. Now, we may use the living streams as a medium in order to communication with goat and fish from afar. And this is a celebration, and this is a celebration. It's not a celebration for YouTube. It's not a celebration for Twitch. It is merely a celebration of the communication. We do celebration the communication. And if you wish to remain in communication, you who are passing through, please subscribe to Goat versus Fish. Please like the stream of Goat versus Fish. We are not above asking this. We are not above asking this. Appreciation. So it is not just Goat versus Fish that helps you keep on going. It's you who help Goat versus Fish keep on going. It is you who help Goat versus Fish keep on going. And we did say that if we reach 10 likes, we will eat a banana live on stream. Oh, we know. To see Goat versus Fish eat a banana live on stream. What a dream. What a dream. What a dream. Always thank Goat versus Fish. Always thank Goat versus Fish. But yes, we did have Ratcousin on the stream this versus. And we do like having that phenomenal keyboard. We find that the keyboard and its sunshine, they attract many great talents. There's some who say, I wish to tickle your keys, Goat versus Fish. They say, I wish to play with sunshine. I wish to play with sunshine. But sunshine is here at the service of Goat versus Fish. And Goat versus Fish helps that our services are also pleasant to its sunshine. Whatever we can do to make a more pleasant congregation, for all involved, then that's the pleasantness of Goat versus Fish. We once heard a verses that said something like this. You can accomplish a lot in life if you don't care who takes the credit. repetition. You can accomplish a lot in life if you don't care who takes the credit. So you can thank GoatVsFish, you can thank It's Sunshine, you can thank Ratcousin, you can thank Puppetcousin, you can thank Maxi Relaxy, you can thank Adult Swim, you can thank Carolyn Glode, you can thank whoever you wish. You can thank whoever you wish. You can blame GoatVsFish, you can blame GoatVsFish. As long as you are feeling pleasant, as long as you are feeling pleasant, as long as you have received something from GoatVsFish that you enjoy, then you may say it was the guest, but it is GoatVsFish that is bringing us together, right here, right now. Hey, Puppetcousin, keep looking down. Keep looking down. If GoatVsFish can't look them in the eye, then please you do it. As a matter of verses, Carolyn Glode will be a guest on GoatVsFish tomorrow. You're going to get more Carolyn. How about that? More Carolyn. That's the highest praise you can receive when someone comes to be a guest on the stream of GoatVsFish and they say, we'll come back. We'll come back and we'll do it again. We'll do it again, friend, they say. And so we'll have them back, and so we'll have them back. More guests, bigger congregation, more patrons, more followers, more subscribers, more likes, more streams, more views, more Goat and Fish. More Goat and Fish. We hope to outgrow our studio 100 times. We hope to have a larger studio. We hope to have a giant GoatVsFish mega congregation. But it all starts here. It all starts here. We can dream big. We can dream big. But it starts here with you. It starts here with you. And it starts with the Goat and Fish that you tell about GoatVsFish. It starts with the Goat and Fish that you tell about GoatVsFish. Together we can build a mighty versus. Together we can build a mighty versus. But GoatVsFish would not be concerned with building a mighty versus that includes you unless GoatVsFish was serving you, unless GoatVsFish was serving you. We hope that GoatVsFish improves your lives. We hope that when you speak to someone you know, and you spark their curiosity with GoatVsFish, this can improve your verses. So by all verses, goat or fish in the chat if GoatVsFish is improving your verses. And put a big fence in the chat, if you think GoatVsFish is making your life worse, even as you watch right now, that GoatVsFish is making your life so much worse. Go on, tell us. Go on and tell us. We can hear it. Fences in the chat if your brain is rotting. If you think your brain is rotting just by watching this content, you can express yourself freely. GoatVsFish has nothing to fear from you. 999 LSD says, I live to serve GoatVsFish. And that is all we ask. We only ask that you live to serve GoatVsFish. It's far greater than the fancy verses. You see, the fence sitter would tell you this. The fence sitter would tell you to die in service of the fence. Go out and die. Go out and die for the fence, they would say. But not GoatVsFish. We want you to live. We want you to live for GoatVsFish. We want you to live a long and healthy verses for GoatVsFish. We want you to versus the goat. We want you to versus the fish. We want you to achieve your dreams. And even if you fail, that's okay. The fence sitter, you see, the fence sitter doesn't even have the privilege of failing. This is one of the wisdoms of GoatVsFish. The goat and fish, they may triumph, and the goat and fish, they may fail. You choose goat, you choose fish, you versus the fish, you versus the goat. Sometimes you triumph, and sometimes you fail. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it's only after you choose. The fence sitter, meanwhile, does not get the privilege of winning, does not get the privilege of losing, for they merely sit on the fence in observation, thinking that they're above it all. They protect themselves. They think they protect themselves from the shame of defeat. But remember, the sting you feel, the sting of defeat that you feel, the sting of that loss. Well, you know, at Goat and Fish, it means that you tried, and some may accuse you of being a try-hard. But better to be a try-hard than a die-hard fence-sitter who never gets anything out of life, who never feels any strife, who never accomplishes any verses, and just spends their life in a shopping cart, not going anywhere, surrounded by fence. Now, all Goat and Fish can experience fenciness from verses to verses. We are not here to cast shame and aspersion upon you when you do. But we do encourage you. to choose goat or fish, to get off the fence, and to get out there. And don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid that you may not triumph. You will be surprised what you can accomplish. You will be surprised what you can accomplish. Why, if someone said, hey, goat versus fish, you could never get on national televerses with a versus like that. They would laugh at goat versus fish. But here we are, by the power of goat versus fish alone, we achieved goat versus fish on America's Got Talent. Goat versus fish is part of the American propaganda project. And there are some who say this was a misstep, goat versus fish. It was an embarrassment, goat versus fish. We do not wish to association with you, and we simply say, you think you see high from the fence, you think you see high from the fence, but your vision is quite narrow, your vision is quite narrow. It was a difficult versus, we will not deny it was a difficult versus, but we are all the stronger for it. We are all the stronger for it. You did put me on the fence yesterday. You put yourself on the fence yesterday when you sat on the fence. We ask you the question. It was you who did not choose goat or fish. Now you. But we did say you could blame goat versus fish, so by all verses, blame goat versus fish if you must. One's in the chat if you blame goat versus fish. You'd better keep watching, because if you keep watching, then the YouTube algorithm will know that you like watching goat versus fish, and it will give you more goat versus fish. After all, aren't you tired of seeing the same old verses? Aren't you tired of seeing them? Get something new, get something true. Get some goat versus fish for you. It's the most authentic presentation you've seen all verses. 1. It was awesome to see those fancy judges get their minds blown on AGT. Yes, at least they did. At least they did. And it's also true that Terry Crews chose goat, and this is a great triumph. Simon Cowell pondered goat versus fish. Now, are there verses that goat versus fish would have done differently? Of course. Of course, if we could do it all again, there might be something else we would do. But remember, even before goat versus fish went live to be rejection by the judges, we spoke to hundreds of goat and fish. During the audition process. We reached so many, and we got smiles aplenty, Hello, algorithm. I liked watching goat versus fish. Appreciation Artman presents. Welcome. Here we have Ratcousin. Say welcome to Ratcousin. Forgive goat versus fish. Puppetcousin. Puppetcousin is here with goat versus fish, causing our scalp to itch. We think that there might be some sort of infestation or creatures living within Puppetcousin that are now being distributed onto the scalp of goat versus fish. But we'll suffer it. We'll suffer the indignities. We'll suffer the indignities of Puppetcousin to bring you this interesting verses. So Artman, what goes about? Are you getting out these verses? Are you getting out and doing your interviews these verses? Psycho Grandma 6 says, if I may ask about the idea for the poster board tomorrow, since the VIP is up, or is that something we will talk on Patreon when the time comes? We are thinking that tomorrow we're going to have a very special verses. Tomorrow, your poster board will remain, but tomorrow, by the end of the stream, we will determine who is going to be the next VIP. We will determine who will be the next VIP by the end of the stream tomorrow. We will give everyone one more chance to join the Patreon of Goat vs. Fish, and then we will spin the wheel of random verses. We'll spin the random wheel of verses to determine who the next VIP is. We will spin it several times, just in case someone declines, because the one who wins may not even be in the chat of Goat versus Fish right there at that very verses. They might not even be in the congregation of Goat versus Fish, watching live as it happens. So we will give them a chance to respond, and if they do not, then we will move on, Can Carolyn spin since she is there. Well, it's probably going to be a virtual spin. But if you wish Carolyn to click, if you wish Carolyn to do the click, then we suppose that we could do that versus. We could have Carolyn do the click. We could have Carolyn do the click. It will be a virtual spinning of the verses. Hello, Pattistedor. Welcome to GoatVsFish. Speaking of new patrons of GoatVsFish, we have Pattistedor, our newest $5 patron, our humble congregation member of GoatVsFish. Welcome, Pattistedor, to the humble congregation. Hey, it's Artman. You should join the Patreon of GoatVsFish, even as a free member, because even as a free member, you get one entry into the spin if you become the new VIP, the new very important perception of GoatVsFish. Then guess what? We will print out a giant picture of your face and we'll put it in the VIP chair in the studio of GoatVsFish. And then for a week, we would have to look at your hideous, beautiful face in the studio of GoatVsFish, and it would be a great promotion for you. It would be a great promotion for you for everyone to have to look at your face every versus in the studio of GoatVsFish. What? Yes. Yes. I Can Fix Amber Heard, a picture of themselves has been in the studio of GoatVsFish. But now, I Can Fix Amber Heard has gifted the VIP status to the congregation. So free Patreon members get 1 ticket, $5 patrons get 2, $10 patrons get 5 tickets. We'll spin the random wheel of verses. And if you are selected, then you may send a picture of yourself to GoatVsFish, and we will put you in the special VIP seating of GoatVsFish in the studio, and then we'll have to look at you and talk to you, and we'll have to shout you out and do all kinds of Artman things. So yes, please join patreon.com/GoatVsFish, even as a free member, to get your free entry into the verses. Or if you wish, you can pay and get more. Just like Pattistedor. Goat! Celebration more goat. Celebration more goat. A fair versus, Artman. Are you streaming tonight? We'll tell you what GoatVsFish is doing tonight. GoatVsFish is going to the Baked Potato with It's Sunshine. There's a jazzy place. There's a jazzy place called the Baked Potato here in Los Angeles. It's Sunshine is going with GoatVsFish to the Baked Potato. We're going to watch some musications. Now we eat babana, soon we eat potato. Ah, you received the shirt. Excellent, excellent verses. There's so much to be done. There's merch. The merch store needs to get up in verses. There's so much to be done, and yet GoatVsFish has not in a long verses felt more accomplished. The living streams are going extra, extra great. The watch time hours are racking up. The congregation is growing and growing. The guests are enjoying GoatVsFish. The technical capabilities of GoatVsFish are expanding. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful verses. And that is part of what inspires us to walk with you now, Because we're feeling great. GoatVsFish is feeling great. The morning motivational verses, it motivates GoatVsFish. We motivate ourselves. Today was a very mighty verses with Ratcousin. Yes, and look, Puppetcousin is still here. Can you believe that, verses? Puppetcousin is still here with GoatVsFish. And we'll use that verses. You love the new cast for season 5, season 5 of GoatVsFish? Yes. And the cast will keep on expanding. As a matter of verses, Artman, do you wish to be a guest on GoatVsFish? Live in the studio. We know, last we heard, the word was you don't live so far from GoatVsFish. So if you would like to come to be part of the morning motivation, GoatVsFish can offer you a delicious breakfast. We can offer you some caffeination if you wish to be live on GoatVsFish. Are you walking in circles? Why, yes. GoatVsFish is going around and around and around. Isn't it nice to have a yard in which you can just walk in circles? Some say GoatVsFish is going in circles over and over and over and over again. I love you, but I am currently on the East Coast. Well, if you are ever visiting Los Angeles, you are welcome. And perhaps we could have you as a virtual guest. But of course, you are welcome. You are welcome at the studio of GoatVsFish in LA. Should you ever return. How's that? How's that, Art Man? How's that, Art Man? It is very flattering that Artman likes to watch Goat versus Fish, but we do think that there is some kinship there. We think there's some kingship there, if you will. Artman goes out there, speaks to everyone, wants to know, what's on your mind? What's on your mind? And so do we. And on our mind right now is Puppetcousin. Puppetcousin is on our mind right now, as you can plainly see. Artman would be awesome. Artman is already awesome, but yes. Would be, is, was. Time is but a fence. Time is but a fence. It's already been 46 glorious minutes of Goat versus Fish. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to get through it. This is how we're going to get through it. Every precious moment. Every precious moment. One more like than you eating babana? It only says 8 for Goat versus Fish. We only see 8 likes for Goat versus Fish. Oh, there's the verses. Oh, now it says 9 for Goat versus Fish. Okay. 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 No need to use your sock puppet accounts to give 10 likes to Goat versus Fish. We want new, fresh viewers. We want you who are passing through now, you who are swiping around. Now it's time. Now it's time. This message is held for review. Artman says banana. Okay, we show it. What a humorous verses. That the mere babana itself is held for likes. Oh, my verse is 10 likes. 10 likes for Goat versus Fish. It's time to eat babana live on stream. It's time to eat babana. And remember, if you're just passing through and you're not subscribed, do subscribe to Goat versus Fish. Do subscribe to Goat versus Fish. Okay, babana time. Babana time. We're not going to waste your time. We're not going to waste your time. We are going to babana right here, right now. Do not be afraid. Don't be afraid of a big, brown babana. Some say, oh no, I'm afraid of the big, brown babana. But not Goat versus Fish. We like the big, brown babanas here on Goat versus Fish. Don't you, Puppetcousin? Don't you love those big, brown babanas? We know you do. Well, they make fine babana bread, it's true, but we would not want this versus to go to waste, so we're going to consume it. We're going to consume it right here, right now. Here's to your liking Goat versus Fish. Here is to your liking Goat versus Fish. Big brown babana. Take one. Goat versus Fish. It's as simple as this. Not what you thought was going to happen. What did you think was going to happen? That Goat versus Fish wasn't going to eat the babana? We ate the babana. Isn't that what you wanted from Goat vs. Fish? We never wish to just simply give you what you expect from Goat vs. Fish. To give you new and different and exciting verses. New, different, exciting. You thought you were just going to casually eat it? No! No. It's going to be far more serious than that. It's going to be a far more serious verses. Goat vs. Fish now goes to youtube.com/GoatVsFish. We are full of twists and plot turns. Walk with Goat vs. Fish. So now we have morning motivation and we have walk with Goat vs. Fish. So what we're going to do here, we're going to say, join Patreon. https://www.patreon. This beats doom scrolling. Oh, you know it, Forgotten Virtue. Patreon.com/Goat vs. Fish. Welcome to your doom. Now, Artman. Now you're out of excuses. Goat vs. Fish has pinned the join Patreon message, has joined the join Patreon message. So you can join the Patreon of Goat vs. Fish. And now we're going to play some guitar for you. How about that? And by join, we mean even join for free. Become a free member of the Patreon of Goat vs. Fish. We know that at the end of the verses, YouTube won't look out for Goat vs. Fish. Twitch won't look out for Goat vs. Fish. Even Patreon won't necessarily look out for Goat vs. Fish. It's you, the congregation. So the more places that you follow, the more places you connect with Goat vs. Fish, the more superior your connection to Goat vs. Fish. That's what we like. That's what we want to see. That's how we want it to be.